I'm going to tell you a very quick story that happened with the famous Baal Shem Tov. He used to go to other people to learn how to become a big tzaddik and a Baal B'tachon. And one time, the Baal Shem Tov went to a city. And he stayed by this person. We'll call him Reb Moshe. And Reb Moshe, he had a very serious job. His job was he had to make sure that all the city's tax was paid up. And that when the time would come on the first of the month, that he would have all the money for the entire city to pay up. It's called the Balif. That was the name of this person. And he would come and knock on the door. He would come 1 day, 2 days, and on the third time, if the third time he didn't have the money, by the time the Balif came the third time, then this tax collector of Moshe would be thrown into jail. So the Baal Shem Tov was sitting in Rav Moshe's house, and they got a knock on the door, and they're screaming, and the Baal Shem Tov got scared, and he said, "What's that noise?" And he said, "Don't worry, it's only the first time. They're coming to collect the money." A day later, again. And the Baal Shem Tov said, "Oh, you told me they have 3 times. It's already the second time. Do you have the money?" And he said, "No, I don't have the money, but Hashem is going to take care. I'm not worried about anything." The next day, before the time that the third knock is going to come, the Baal Shem Tov said, "You look very comfortable. You're about to sit down and have a whole Suda, and you're wearing a big day Shabbos. What's going on? You seem so calm. You have such an achrayus. You might go to jail if you don't have the money before the ballot comes the third time." And then he said, Moshe said, "Don't worry, Hashem's going to take care. Hashem's going to take care. It's all going to be good." And finally, another knock on the door, and it's the ballot again. And Baal Shem Tov says, "You don't have the money." He says, "I don't have the money, but Hashem is going to take care." He had another couple of hours, and he said, "Hashem's going to take care. This is my third reminder. I'm not worried at all." He's completely serene and calm, nothing to worry about. Right after the ballot left, he's going to come back in 1 hour to pick up the money. All of a sudden, there's this big carriage coming down the street, and the Baal Shem Tov sees that Rav Moshe is talking to this guy in the carriage, and they're going back and forth and exchanging, and a huge amount of coins starts pouring in to Rav Moshe's sack, and then he came back and forth. This carriage came back and forth, and more coins. Rav Moshe came back to the house, and he was very calm. And the Baal Shem Tov said, "What just happened over there?" And he explained. He said, "This person, he just came by. He wants to buy whiskey for the entire winter. And originally he came by and only gave me a little bit amount of money because he didn't want to pay my price. But then, when he came back on his with the horses, he decided to come back a second time and buy the entire supply of whiskey for the entire winter. And he gave him tons and tons of money." And the Baal Shem Tov said, "Now I see what true B'tachon is. That at any moment, even when it seemed that there's no other answer, Mamash Anes right then and there, that he bought all the whiskey for the entire winter. He had enough money to pay the ballot for a bunch of months." And he said, "Lishwascha kivisi Hashem." When we trust in Hashem, anything and everything can happen. And he was calm, and he said B'tachon, and he said with Hashem, Lishwascha kivisi Hashem. He waited for Hashem's salvation, and he was calm.